So what I want to do in this video is talk about my $695 annual fee credit card setup that I personally use to maximize all travel when it comes to redeeming credit card points. Now what I love about this is twofold. Firstly is that you can very easily offset that $695 annual fee without having to dive into all these different perks and kind of redemption values in order to make sure that you're actually coming out on top. It's very easy to get positive value out of these two credit cards. And secondly is that one of these credit cards is actually a zero fee annual card, so you can either have a duo setup or a trifecta setup depending on what your current situation is. So without further ado, let's talk about exactly what I do to really get maximized value on basically $700 worth of credit card fees and really offset it pretty much immediately. Let's get into it. So let's quickly go over the zero annual fee card because we only really use this card for one or two things maximum, and that has to be the Bilt Mastercard. And what I like about this kind of setup is that it is very optional with this card specifically, so you can run this as a duo setup or a trifecta setup. Again, the Bilt Mastercard is for those people that want to pay rent and actually earn and accumulate points. You can technically accumulate points with any other credit card when it comes to paying rent, depending on the actual rent payment portal. But all those rent payment portals do have some sort of processing fee. The Bilt card allows you to forego that processing fee, and depending on how much you pay in rent, it could be, $50 all the way to maybe even $500 in terms of actual processing fees, depending on how you're actually paying that. But the Bilt Mastercard, no matter if it is a $1 processing fee or a $500 processing fee, it is completely waived, which is nice to have, and you do earn 1 point per dollar spent. So basically, we can earn up to $36,000 per year just by paying rent where we would otherwise earn nothing. Now, you do have to have up to 5 transactions per month in order to get those points, so technically you do need an additional 4 because the actual rent payment counts as 1, but you can use that for any kind of maybe dining out or a quick coffee or maybe even have your Netflix streaming services on there and things like that. So it's very easy to get 5 transactions, and you do also get 3 points per dollar on dining, 2 points per dollar on travel, and then 1 point per dollar on everything else. And the second reason we use this card is on the first of every month, it is actual Bilt rent day, which basically it doubles up the value that you get per category. So this basically turns into a 6x on dining card that we do use on occasion to maybe go on a date night or something like that if it falls on a weekend. So we know that we get 6x on dining that we can then transfer to Hyatt at the end of the day, because this is the only card in the setup that does transfer to Hyatt, which is my favorite hospitality or hotel group to transfer points out of to actually redeem for travel. But again, this is going to be an optional card. If you were a homeowner, this card makes 0 sense because as of right now, you cannot do your mortgage payments through this and collect points. So only if you're a renter does it make sense to actually get this card and be able to use it. There isn't really a sign-up bonus, at least not one that's kind of advertised. I've seen a lot of data points that say that people do get 5x per dollar spent up to 50,000 points on the first 5 days of having this card. And for the most part, everybody does get that. But again, it is something that is not really advertised and you don't really see it. You usually get an email after you get approved for the card for this quasi sign-up bonus. But outside of that, there really isn't a sign-up bonus. But that is the Bilt card. Add it if you're a renter or don't add it. But again, for a zero fee annual card, it's really hard to beat this one. So now the biggest point of this credit card, either duo or trifecta, is to maximize your biggest spend categories throughout everything, so you are maximizing on a daily basis. I'm not really taking into account sign-up bonuses or anything like that for any of these cards, even though they do have some sign-up bonuses, which I'll link down below, and most of the sign-up bonuses will offset the cost of having this card, at least for the first year, without any issues. But the best thing to do is to see how this card looks forward to you in the year 2 and 3 to see if you can maximize the value and see if you can offset that annual fee. So the first card that I'm going to mention, or I guess the second card in this one, is the one that's going to cover my top 2 categories of spend outside of rent, which is going to be groceries and dining out, and that is going to be the American Express Gold Card. Now, the American Express Gold Card, like I mentioned, gives you 4x on dining and 4x on US supermarkets in store, up to $25,000 for each category per year. So that alone will get you up to 100,000 points per category if you do end up spending that much money dining out as well as in grocery stores. So that is what I'm using this card for. Now, this card does bring a $250 annual fee, which I do think is going to increase in a little bit. I mean, that's what the rumor's saying. But for right now, if you do apply now, I will leave a link down below because I do believe there's a $90,000 sign-up bonus. If you guys do click on that link to sign up, it does help the channel out a lot. So definitely consider doing that. But find out the sign-up bonus that's best for you at the end of the day. But the way that you offset that $250 annual fee, it does come in the form of credits, which I'm able to use very easily. Now, depending on who you are and what situation you're in and where you are, your mileage may vary on this, but the first thing you do is you do get $120 per year that's broken up into $10 per month as an Uber credit. Now, if you don't use this $10 per month, then it's going to be forgotten and you don't actually get to roll it over to next month, which is kind of unfortunate. But it is giving you $10 per month on something like Uber Eats and Uber, which is automatically credited to your account. So if you're somebody that eats out once a month or somebody that orders in from Uber Eats once a month or you take an Uber once a month, then this is going to be worth it because automatically you're getting a $10 gift card or $10 off of any purchase through those, which is something that we tend to do. We usually order Uber Eats once or twice a month as a treat, so this does take into account. And then secondly, you get another $120 per year annual perk, which again is also divided into $10 a year, which falls under that same kind of dining category, but it's only with some merchants. So like Shake Shack is in there, Cheesecake Factory is in there, Grubhub, there's some other kind of delivery services in there. But at the end of the day, if you do want to maximize it, you can. So technically, like I use this at Cheesecake Factory because on the way back from work, there is a Cheesecake Factory right there. So I'll pop in, get one slice of cheesecake as a treat for myself and my wife, and we end up sharing that. And that alone is, I think, $11. So we're basically getting a cheesecake slice for only $1 once per month, thanks and courtesy to Amex, because we are technically prepaying it with that $250 annual fee. So we personally do maximize this card pretty easily because it's not really something that we think about a lot. We either use Uber Eats or we don't, and then we use the either Grubhub or the Cheesecake Factory or the Shake Shack credit, or we don't. But if you do maximize this every single month, that will lower your effective annual fee to only $10, and that is why I love this gold card, because it does give you 4x on groceries, which is the only card that does that by default, unless there are some sign-up bonuses out there, like with the Freedom Flex, which I'll link a video on how to get 9x back on groceries. But then also there aren't many other cards out there that are giving you 4x standard on dining out as well. Now, unfortunately, this does not have a Hyatt as a transfer partner, but you can transfer to Hilton at a 2-to-1 ratio, so for every 1 American Express point you earn, you do get 2 Hilton points, which is, if you think about it from a grocery level, that means you're getting 8x back on Hilton if you are somebody that wants to transfer to Hilton when you are using the grocery store credit. So that's just something to think about, but this is going to be our dedicated grocery and dining out card by the end of March. And like I said, right now we're using the Freedom Flex as that main card for groceries because we're getting 9x through the end of March. But after that, this is going to be that dedicated card, and it does still transfer to things like Flying Blue and Aeroplane and some of those other transfer partners that are really beneficial if you are trying to have that nice business class travel overseas, which again, I'll link another video of how we were able to do that for a European trip that we have in April. And like I mentioned, this is going to be a travel setup, right? I'm not doing cash back or anything like that. So you might be wondering what my kind of premier or high-end kind of travel card is going to be. And that's going to be the Capital One Venture X card, which is the most recent card that we've acquired over the last couple months. And what's nice about this is that, yes, it does have a $395 annual fee, which is on that premium side, but it is technically on the lower end of the premium card. Like the Chase Sapphire Reserve is $550, the Amex Platinum is $695, and I think the Amex Platinum is going to go even higher. But again, for $395, the amount of perks that you get, and again, I'm not talking about the sign-up bonus, because right now the sign-up bonus is 75k miles, which is, again, alone going to be able to benefit you enough to offset the cost on the first year. But outside of that, for $395, this is going to be my catch-all cards. So you do get 2x miles on every single purchase made, no matter what it is, no matter what category. So like I mentioned, the Bilt card covers our rent, the gold card covers all of our groceries and dining out, and then this card is going to cover pretty much anything else. So, you know, Amazon purchases, maybe if you're out at a gift shop buying something random, again, it's going to be from miscellaneous expenses. But again, those 2x points isn't going to offset the $395 annual fee. But the first thing that will help offset that is the $300 travel credit that you get when you book either a flight or hotel through Capital One's travel portal. Now again, this is limited to the travel portal, but for the most part, 99% of what you see on hotels.com or booking.com or any other kind of hotel portal that you see will be in Capital One's travel portal. So the sky's the limit. Like, we're using our $300 travel credit for a hotel in Bruges, Belgium. That's going to be a very nice hotel that, again, we prepaid because we do have that $300 travel credit that comes with this card. And this travel credit is extremely easy to use. It's kind of like a running balance that you have an entire year to use. So you can stay at a hotel that's $100 a night for 3 nights, or you can stay at one hotel that's $300 a night, or you can, maybe stay at one exquisite hotel that's $400, $500 a night, but take $300 off. It depends on how you want to use it. And of course, like I mentioned, this does also work for flights. So if you want to book a flight through Capital One's travel portal, you can do that as well, which I also plan to use maybe next year, which is going to be awesome to see. So that alone lowers the $395 annual fee down to $95. And then after your first year, because you do get the 75k sign-up bonus, after the first year, you do get 10,000 miles anniversary bonus, which does equate to at least $100 of travel credit in the travel portal, which if you guys have seen some of our videos, we can maximize that even further. But for argument's sake, let's say it's basically another $100 worth of value. So you're already being paid $5 just to have this card, which if you look at our grand total, now we're down to only a $5 or a negative $5 annual fee, effective annual fee for our entire setup before we even get into any of the other perks we're about to talk about. Because like I mentioned, this is a premium travel card, so this is going to be your lounge card as well. This gives you access to not only Capital One's lounges, there aren't that many, but they are extremely nice, and I do want to check one out eventually. I believe there's only 3 or 4 right now in the US, but you do also get Priority Pass, so you can bring another person with you and go to all the Priority Pass lounges, domestically or internationally, and it also brings Plaza Premium lounges if you do want to check that out. So if you travel once a year, this card is going to pay for itself, and it'll help you offset the annual fee, or the remaining annual fee of that gold card, so that's why it's so easy to get value. And I'm not even touching on all the other perks that you get with the Capital One, like the Hertz President's Club, the theft protection that you get, the travel insurances that you get, the TSA pre-check that comes with $100 every 4 years to pay for your TSA pre-check and global pre. So there's a bunch of other credits that you can kind of go diving into to really get and maximize the value of the annual fees and get a very positive effective annual fee. But I wanted to showcase how with these 2 or 3 cards, yes, technically it's almost $700 in credit card fees that you are paying per year, but it's so easy to offset them without having to dig deeper into these kind of perks and values where otherwise you wouldn't really kind of spend the money that way or otherwise, because at the end of the day, the only way to really calculate your effective annual fee is to put those credits towards something that you would already spend money on versus something that's maybe making you spend additional money on, if that makes any sense. But that is my masterful of the perfect 2024 duo or trio or trifecta, depending on what your current situation is. But that is my masterful of the perfect 2024 duo or trio or trifecta, depending on what your current situation is. As I mentioned, I'm going to link all of the cards down below, and those referral links will help out the channel out immensely if you guys do want to check that out. But let me know in the comment down below. Again, what I like about the credit card game is that it's not one size fits all. It's very customizable to your needs. Like maybe you want to swap this card out for a Chase Sapphire Reserve because the travel credit is a little bit better, but it's $550. So you kind of have to play this kind of balancing game between yourself and how much you want to spend. But I do believe that this is the greatest travel setup, especially on the beginner side, because it's very easy to offset those annual fees without having to think about it too much and really diving into like the American Express Platinum, which is, yes, you do get a ton of value for $700. You do have to go through that metal kind of digital coupon card or coupon book to really redeem and make sure that you're offsetting that $700. But this one is very easy to use, very easy to set up. And what's nice about it is that you do get an American Express, a Visa, and a Mastercard. So no matter where you are, you can't be like denied of maybe, oh, I don't take Amex, or oh, I don't take Mastercard and things like that. So you'll always have something to be able to pay with as well. But let me know in the comment down below what you currently use in your setup. Do you kind of have a duo setup, a trifecta, or maybe you just have a bunch of cards that you're kind of rotating all at once? Let me know. I'm always curious to know. But if you guys want to watch some more videos like this, click on one of these videos right here. And if you guys want to see how we redeemed about, I think, 250,000 points for round trip tickets to Europe on business class, click on this video right here. But until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.